Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Elsie and this is
Tony.
Okay. Today we're talking about boundaries. Yes, we're talking about boundaries. Now, what would you say boundaries are, Tony?
Oh gosh, boundaries I think come in all shapes and forms. Physical boundaries like fences and borders, and psychological boundaries,
Yeah.
things we would or would not do. Maybe things we should not do as well.
Yes.
Like sort of, I've never really had a big temptation to be a shoplifter, for example.
Have you not?
No. I mean, I'd be tempted with other things, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah.
there are boundaries. We don't get involved with that. And it's good that we should have some boundaries
Yes.
which can keep us, well, safe, I suppose, in one sense, from things which are not either dangerous or not good, whether it's a fence along a cliff edge, which can help us stop falling over, things like that.
Yeah.
Without these boundaries, whether it's physical ones like that or in our lives,
Yes.
then I mean, look, for example, at people who have succumbed to Class A drugs
Yes.
because they didn't respect a sort of a boundary there. They've gone through that, and now all of a sudden they're in that terrible, terrible situation. And that's,
No, I've actually never thought of it that way, because normally when people talk about boundaries, they don't necessarily talk about the physical. We are back to our discussion. I think I was just saying about how normally when people, like, I was just intrigued that you were talking about physical boundaries that keep us safe, because normally when people talk about boundaries, they are normally talking about emotional things in relation to the kind of relationships they have with other people. And it was quite interesting that you also mentioned drugs, because I think when people mention boundaries, they're also just mentioning it in relation to other people, not setting boundaries for our own selves, which is actually maybe the most important.
Absolutely.
To set boundaries for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because then if you set boundaries for yourself, then you know what standards that you hold yourself to. Then you can know what standards to hold the people around you.
And at least you don't then feel like a hypocrite. For example, yes, I do drink, but I don't never drink and drive.
No.
And,
yes.
I respect that rule. There's a lot of rules I don't respect quite so much, but that one I really do respect. There's a boundary there.
Yes.
And it helps, please God, keep me safe, and important to keep other people safe.
Yeah.
Because it's just a fiction when you think, I can drive as well,
Yes.
So boundaries. But when you say about the boundaries in relationships, maybe we need our own space type of thing. For example, people in a relationship, usually a couple type relationship, they still need their own. They can share so much and should be sharing an awful lot, but everyone needs that personal space as well.
Oh, you're touching a nerve, because people, like, there's an argument about this, because there is a whole argument about this, because people would say that if you're saying that you love someone and you want to share your life with a person, then why do you need space from the person?
Well, funny enough, I haven't deeply thought about this, I must admit. But my quick response to that would be, is that in a way, if you have a space to yourself to recharge the batteries, whatever, not only is it better for you, it's better for the person that you claim to love. There's a better version of you then that they can be with.
Yes.
Whereas otherwise, you're sort of, it becomes maybe a little bit suffocating,
Yeah, that is, definitely. Yeah. That is a really good point, because I think the mistake people normally make is to think that other people can complete them. But then I think we have heard several times from experts and people who have been married before and are still married, who will say that you need to be a person on your own.
Yes.
And then the person also needs to be they're a whole person on their own. Yeah.
We certainly when we look for other people to complete us,
Yeah.
and even as far as company, and the company of people you love obviously is enjoyable. We would seek it out, sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, for various reasons, I'm not a diabetic, right? And I like sweet things, but if you overindulge in sweet things, it's not good for you.
No.
And maybe there's something about if you overindulge in each other's company and in every aspect of your lives, it's just like it's too much type of thing.
Yeah.
We need to preserve our integrity, apart from keeping boundaries in the very practical sense as well.
Yeah.
Like recently we've had this instance about women surgeons coming forward and talking about being sexually harassed or indeed assaulted in the operating theatre of all places by senior surgeons. I mean, this is totally wicked, and the response from one of them actually just this week was women should learn to toughen up.
That was just absolutely mad.
I mean, I've got to say, as a man, I totally disapprove of that type of comment.
Yeah. And I was thinking that even before you're able to set boundaries, you should be aware, like, what are you setting the boundaries about? So first of all, you should know what you believe in, what are your values, because then otherwise you just accept anything. And I wanted to ask, like, how do you know how do you even come to realize what your values are and what you believe in and the kind of things you stand for?
Wow. I didn't know we were going to do a 4-hour program.
No,
I know, but it's true. And you say, well, okay, I mean, the short, I suppose, the condensed answer, okay.
Yeah.
Please God, my Christian faith helps to define in many ways what one's boundaries are as to what's acceptable and what's not acceptable.
Yes.
And the other, I mean, the universal rule about do to others as you would do to have done to you, that's something that cuts across all races and religions as well.
Yes.
And try and see things from the other person's point of view, how they would feel if for that. At one level, silly thing, giving a tip in a restaurant to a waiter.
Yeah.
Yeah, just why? Why not? If there's somebody who's struggling for money, doing a job, very often not being paid even the legal minimum wage, and I understand this, it's very difficult sometimes for restaurant owners to pay people full wages to stand around if it's not busy.
Yeah.
But then, it's just nice if you can afford to buy a meal, that you can afford a little bit for somebody there as well.
Yeah.
You're empathizing with someone else. And so otherwise we think we have this boundary or barrier between us and the other person. Well, okay, that's their problem. They're working here. That's just a little practical example. But the other good thing about boundaries, I suppose, is keeping us safe, keeping our behaviour moderated as well.
Yeah.
That it's not good for us to indulge, for example, in fits of rage.
Yes.
That's something I have been guilty of in the past. There's no doubt about it. It's not healthy.
No.
It can lead you to all sorts of ridiculous things.
Yeah.
Because you can't be reasoned with when you're in that kind of a situation.
No.
So boundaries for ourselves are very, very important.
But
boundaries for others, or rather, setting boundaries on what we find acceptable from other people. In a way, we're still doing it for ourselves.
Yes.
Because we're saying it's not acceptable that you take these liberties with me, that you speak to me in this way, or as people would have it now, that you deliberately mispronoun me, or whatever,
Yeah.
So people's preferences should be respected.
Yeah, now we are coming to the end of the program, but then just from what you said, that was actually going to be my last point on this, because I was going to say that even though certain boundaries may seem like it's for other people, but I do feel like the bulk of it is for ourselves. Because just taking myself for example, when like I hear people, like when someone speaks to me a certain way or someone does something and I'm like, what made you think you could speak to me that way? Or what made you think that you could say this to me? And yeah, I think one time like a male friend did pass a comment about my body, and then I was like, well, what made you think, like, why? And I actually blamed myself for it, because I was like, maybe you've not set that kind of boundary for yourself to allow people to know that they cannot speak to you a certain way. So yes, definitely setting boundaries protects you maybe more than the people around you.
Yeah, because I mean, to some extent, other people also have to set their own boundaries too, you know,
for themselves. Yeah.
But having said that, I think sometimes it's good to associate with people who don't understand these kinds of things.
True.
Because literally, I mean, whether from a Christian perspective or from any other perspective, how is a person who may not have a good sense of their own value or the sense of where their boundaries should be, you know, one of the ways, if ever they're going to develop it, is going to hear about it from somebody credible in the first place, that you could be doing a lot better by doing this, you know?
True.
So there we go.
Yes, we will leave you with that thought. We have come to the end of our program. And if you've watched to this point, I imagine you're enjoying the program. So kindly like, comment, subscribe.
If you like this video, kindly like, comment, and subscribe. You can also find us on other social media platforms, on Twitter at Talk with Tony and on Instagram at talkwithtony.live. Don't forget, live, laugh, and most importantly, love. Watch out for the next video. It's bye for now.